It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. So I have a couple thoughts. One is it's hard to make an assumption about how many people aren't going to come back to work, but people do respond to incentives, and I'm not going to try to act like I read that whole damn bill yet. I don't know how long it lasts, and if they can, when this goes away, if they're going to pull it off the table.
And it could change, right?
I'm never going to try to act like I know what the hell the government's doing. I'm just going to, read through it, respond, and be thoughtful about it. But there's going to be some people that it just doesn't make sense, and you can't blame them if they don't come back.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense for them to come back. And we're in a capacity, and we may have some demand leave too. We're still in the spring. The spring is still the spring. Whether you mow lawns, whether you clean windows, whether you clean houses, no matter what you do, if you are in the service industry, things change in the springtime. Everybody's out and about. Now, this is going to be a little bit different, but our workload ramps up in the spring. It's when people shop. It's going to get bumped back a little bit, probably. But the spring is still the spring, so we're still going to need to hire into that, just like we always do. This is going to be a bit different, but we're still going to need employees. There's a ton of people that are still out there, even with this unemployment package that's coming. There's one really cool thing that we've noticed with all the applications that we've got in Minneapolis, which is all of these people have the option to not be going to work right now. Like, they have the best excuse they've ever had to not go to work. And some people don't want to go to work and they're going to sit at home with this. But some people don't like sitting at home. And it doesn't matter what you'd offer them, they still want to get out and work.
Right.
And those are the people that are going to be applying. And so my strategy for Minneapolis window cleaning is we need to find those people right now. They're the people that are out looking right now, even though they have an excuse to stay home. They are not the type of people that want to sit at home. They're the type of people that want to go out, work outside, work with their hands, and get shit done. And that's exactly the type of person I want on my team, is the person that has all the excuses in the world to not go to work, but they would always choose to go to work anyway. If they're freaking sick, if they're hurt, if they're this or they're that, not that I'm encouraging that, but the type of person I'm talking about, where it doesn't matter, they're not phased. They argue and fight to go to work, and that's hard to find, and that's who we're finding right now. So it's pretty badass.
Yeah, and so let's assume that I'm wrong, completely wrong, and for
my
whatever. My
father-in-law always said, "Assume everybody's an idiot."
So I'm right when I say my opinion on how I just laid it out, and then when I say, okay, let's assume I'm wrong, and you need to think about this. Either way, you need to think. So let's assume that it's completely the opposite end of what I'm thinking. And then you're going to have a labor pool. So you're going to have more applications than you've ever seen in your life coming in.
Oh, sorry.
Right. So it's completely different. It's completely different than what I'm thinking. And I've only been wrong most of my life. So let's assume that it'll happen. You need to set something up to figure out how you're going to go through all the, we're either going to be, and I'm talking, I think a little bit more about maid service than exterior, because you're still kind of floating pretty good in exterior, but maid service wise, and that's my background, right? That's where my blood is home cleaning, interior. And I'm telling, so if I'm wrong and you're going to go through all these applications, because I'm thinking this, okay, Mrs. Smith hasn't had her house cleaned in a month and a half because of this virus and this nonsense. When it does open up, there is going to be more phone calls than you've ever heard in your life. You're going to have more messages to return. You're going to be so busy dealing with clients that want to come back. And if you're really good, clients that paused service with their current company and they're ready maybe to move on to another company. So if you're that one gathering, there's a growth opportunity on the demand side for those of you that know what you're doing and you're on top of it with that. So how are you going to handle the application flow if I'm completely wrong? And you'll be doubling and tripling the application, quadrupling the application flow than you were used to just a month ago. Okay. So I think just as quick as it came on, Dan and I are in Texas a couple of weeks ago going, yeah, schools were not closed. Businesses were not closed. It was just kind of touching the surface.
March Madness wasn't quite canceled yet.
All sports were on, right? That was on a Thursday. I came home on a Sunday a couple of days later, and I got friends telling me, "What are you, nuts? What are you, traveling? The whole world's falling to, oh, the schools are closed, restaurants are closed." That happened in 2 or 3 days. I'm telling you right now, it's going to gradually come out, and then it's going to go like this, and you're going to have one. I can guarantee you this: clients are going to be coming out of the woodwork when we're able to go back to work. They're going to want their houses disinfected, cleaned, whatever. They're going to want us back. I don't know how. I bet a lot on that. I don't know 50-50 on what the application flow is going to be and what the availability with recruiting and hiring is going to be, but you better prepare for either.
I do know one thing, which is right now it's freaking amazing.
Yes,
that for sure, because that's what we're seeing. So I think going back to the original point is like we've still got a lot of defense left to play,
right?
And we're going to be defensive minded for a while yet, and I think that's okay. I think we should be. We need to make sure we get out of this thing, but when you're backed up in a corner and you're taking haymakers, you still need to look for that window of opportunity. And as we all know in the service industry, there's an opportunity on the sales side, and you're going to figure that out. But you still always need people to go clean that thing and do that thing. And I just go back to the fact of you lose nothing to go out and get a bunch of applications right now and build relationships. I know especially for a couple of our offices, I think in St. Louis in particular, the best recruiting methodology we have is building a list when we don't need people, and then sending an email to that list when we do need people. And they get through and they get vetted and we still don't need them. And so a lot of these people we don't even like get the interviews done with, and we just get these applications in, and then we hit them up at a later date and they're already vetted. They're the people that made it through our process. And when we send out, 100 emails to that, we get 5 or 10 back, and then we go through there and we get a few employees, and that works damn near every single time. And so right now is the perfect time to find those A players for super cheap. Like, you don't need to spend a lot of money on boosting ads on Indeed or wherever you boost your ads, or spend your recruiting money to go get those applications. They're out there and you can get a lot of them. So just go get them, vet them, and then have that stockpile ready to go so when you need to go, you can get 5 people in for interviews tomorrow. And you don't need to like start from zero, because it's still the springtime. We're still going to need to go. It might not be April. April might turn into May. May might turn into June, but it's going to happen. Everything's going to get pushed back to some extent, but it's still springtime and people are still going to want to clean their stuff. That's how we do it.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one, or check out this one, and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.